Most executives and boards come to Beside Leaders Global because something is a little bit off. Maybe it's their missing targets, perhaps good people are leaving, or managers are just feeling stretched. And reality is that most organizations are leaking somewhere between 30 and 37% of their productivity every year through friction, unclear standards, and wasted effort. Most organizations also measure outcomes, not look at the actual causes of this underperformance. And psychosocial safety and the risks of that really create hidden costs that compound over time. So for a $100 million company, that could be anywhere between a $30, $34, $37 million annual leakage. Left unaddressed, that leakage is going to accumulate year on year. What we see at Beside Leaders is the three biggest issues that most organizations and teams actually face: communication, trust, and clarity. So why you don't have a performance problem, why we believe you just have a leakage problem. The targets being missed, the middle managers stretched. It often feels like this is the same old that we face every year. But the hard part is that most managers and leaders inside the organization can't really get a grasp on that leak clearly. They can't really see where exactly is that coming from in this complex organization because they're just too close to the business. And that's where we come in. At Beside Leaders Global, we help you plug those leaks and then build a culture of continuing performance that's robust and healthy. We work alongside CEOs and boards and their senior leadership teams who are ready to move beyond those little symptoms and actually start getting down to the bigger root causes of what's really holding them back. We just don't do band-aid solutions. We're not your quick fix, come in and have a rah-rah kind of group. We don't come in with generic leadership training and just hope that something changes. And we never pretend that culture is a soft issue, because it absolutely is not. We work beside you to identify where energy, trust, time, people, and performance are all leaking. And then we help you build the right culture, the right leadership, and the best environmental conditions that will allow your business to move forward with so much alignment and flow that you will have never felt so clear before. Because when your leaks are plugged, performance just doesn't need to be forced. It starts to become completely natural. We help every organization plug their leaks, whatever they are. And let me tell you, they're not always the same because every organization is different. Sometimes it's in new staff onboarding and that's weak. People take too long to become productive, or they learn bad habits off existing staff. Sometimes it's a middle manager level problem, where middle managers are often that pressure point in an organization between senior leaders and the coalface and frontline staff. And so maybe they're being expected to translate strategy, to manage people, to handle conflict, to lift performance, all while doing the operational things in the organization. So maybe it's that. Or perhaps it's actually a senior leadership alignment issue, where the senior leaders might be highly capable, very confident individuals, but perhaps they're all pulling against each other because they're running a race that's built around their area, their department, and not necessarily all pulling together for the betterment of the whole. Perhaps some of your leaks are around planning and execution. Most organizations have a plan, whether that's a 33-page deep strategy or whether that's a 1-page, 1 year or 1 quarter plan. But they don't always have the system and the ability to deliver on it. They don't turn those strategies into lived priorities and clear rhythms and practical accountability. And so after the offsite of developing that, often it just lands and ends up in someone's drawer. Or perhaps you've got problems with retention and experience. People don't usually just leave because of one small moment in an organization. They leave because of repeated little things. A promise doesn't match the reality. A value doesn't match someone's behavior. A leader's words don't match their actions. Perhaps it's that no one is having performance conversations with them. No one is giving them feedback. And so we help you identify wherever your leaks are, whatever it is that you need. And we help you move from force to flow. Because at Beside Leaders, we believe in creating conditions where people not only understand the direction of the organisation, but they trust the leadership. They know what's expected and they feel really connected to that purpose. And they know that they can contribute their best skills with clarity and confidence. As I said, culture is not soft. You can hear that these are all really critical parts of an organisation's strategy for success. It's about leading and leading with standards and humanity. It's about replacing any confusion with complete clarity. It's about removing the pressure points and instead instilling those points with purpose. It's getting rid of those silos that everyone talks about and actually getting some sense of shared ownership. So at Beside Leaders, we go beyond the symptoms, whether that's the low performance, unclear expectations, or turnover. We actually help you go beyond that to look at the root cause so that you can identify what is actually going on. And then we walk beside you for whatever that takes, 6 months, 12 months, sometimes even 2 years, depending on the size and the scope of things that need to be done. And we walk with you until those leaks are plugged. When the leakage starts to reduce, organisations start to sigh a sigh of relief because they've never often experienced quite this sense of momentum and flow that comes. And so quite often we continue to walk beside them because we can easily get excited by feeling that and lose a bit of the momentum. So we help leaders continue to be clear, middle managers to continue to have confidence, and staff to really understand exactly how they add value in the organisation. After this, organisations stop wasting so much effort trying to force things and make things happen, and instead they just keep creating the culture and environment that allows brilliance to shine forward. We work primarily, as I said, with CEOs, boards, and senior leadership teams who are truly ready to look honestly at what's happening under the hood of their organisation. So if you're tired of treating symptoms, you know your organisation has more potential than it's using, and you're ready to address the real actual causes of underperformance, then come and talk to us. If you're not ready and you're just looking for a motivational session or a generic program, there are loads of other suppliers and people out there, and we encourage you to find them. So we walk beside you to diagnose that leakage, to identify what's going on, the root cause, and to build the structure, the leadership, and the practice to create absolute lasting change. Our role is not to stand above you, and our role is not to tell you what to do. It's also not to sit outside of the organisation and just hand you a report. It's to work beside you, close enough to understand the real issues, skilled enough to name what's really happening, practical enough to help you shift it, and experienced enough to stay with you until that work lands. If you're ready to find the leak, this is not a sales pitch, it's just a conversation to explain how we work. And we would love to talk to you.